Wind brings things in motion. And movement is energy. Movement is progress. Motion is fantasy, and wind cools. This combination exactly what makes an old Porsche 911 Targa what it is. An energetic, fantastic car and purist, without modernity in today's sense. Nothing digital, no controllers, mechanics, cables, engineering. Obsolete and yet not old. Not trend, but timeless, which is more valuable. The form follows the idea of craftsmanship, no calculations on the computer. The Porsche 911, for many an impossible dream. As a new car, not a vehicle for lower income groups, and today even more a classic car, which cannot be had inexpensively. On the contrary, the previous owner invested around 40,000 euros in this 1972 911T Targa, not as a purchase price, but in restoration costs. And that's how it now looks, at least in condition 2+. Connoisseurs appreciate this, the times when one of these so-called original 11s could be still had for a bargain price long gone. Latest in the early 90s, and the prices continue to rise. As long as the total substance and especially the state of bodywork is in order, a costly restoration can also make perfect sense, and again, add value. Also inside, nothing can be judged as being unnecessary. Everything is there which makes up the necessary and essential technical reduced features of an original sports car. A listening pleasure, largely uninsulated at the front. Also here, everything's still real. This air-cooled engine and rear-wheel drive make a part of the genius of this car. Actually, this principle is not ideal, but still superior today. Porsche produced the 911 Targa for the first time in 1965. The people from Zuffenhausen in Germany initially presented the model rather boringly as a safety convertible. At that time, there were not any high-strength materials available for a strong A-pillar. Therefore, the engineers opted for a roll bar behind the front seat and dressed with a wide-brush stainless steel band. There wasn't anything like it then in any other car. What was then a stopgap solution by the developers later turned into the distinguishing feature for the Targa. An early Targa like this is not a show-off Porsche, not for friends of low-lying and brutal sounds, but more a model with style, a classic car with a sporty class. And sporty here means quite an effort for the driver, while braking with the non-servo assisted steering. The owner of this original Gulf Orange Targa explains it exactly.
So ein Porsche
A Porsche like this is not for wimps. This is still a lot of work. That's contact with the road, which is only for enthusiasts. Not a new Porsche with all possible assistance systems. The car still has a certain strength and rigidity, and with that you are still sitting in a sports car, but have the open sky above you. And that makes for the special charm with the Targa. A 911 is not an old-timer for beginners in the classic scene, not only because of the driving, which takes time to get used to. Every repair is expensive, maintenance is necessary, and also not cheap. Good to know, almost all replacement parts of the original 11 can be obtained from Porsche, even though not at a bargain price. The Targa roof, by the way, can also be folded by a scissor mechanism, but that is not good for the fabric. Those who don't have space under the front hood can also store it like this. My passion for classic cars relies a great deal on the fact that I don't like most cars today, and they're also very similar and becoming increasingly more similar. At the current time, cars are developed by engineers, and the engineers have determined how a car has to be in the end. And today's marketing people have far too great a say in my eyes. And today it's important what the market wants and not what represents the brand. Today every car is uniform and egg-shaped and formed round. Previously each car had its own character, and you could already recognize a brand 1 or even several kilometers away. And so one simply goes back in time, at it as if it's a time machine, and if the car still is in perfect condition, then you'll feel just like the people felt 40 years ago. A 72 Porsche Targa is undoubtedly technically suitable for everyday use, but probably not for the driver. He will need to work and is pretty far away from relaxed country cruising. The driver accepts this if he wants it like this. And even if the Targa is in this version T with 130 horsepower, it's much less powerful than the top Model S with 190 horsepower. It's still fun and is anyway fast enough.